So one thing we should talk about since we're here at layer 2 is how you actually identify each of the computers on the network. So if I look at the way I was sending messages, somehow we had to say that this message was for computer C and that the message came from computer A in case C wants to send a reply. But in reality, do we label computers A, B, C, D? How do we actually give the computers some unique identifier to say who they are? We don't use A, B, C, D. Instead, at layer 2, we use something called a MAC address. Now, this name is kind of annoying. It has nothing to do with the message authentication codes from the cryptography unit. They just unfortunately share the same name. So in this class, when we talk about MACs, we will now say MAC address to say that we're talking about the networking-related MAC, just to make it very clear which one we're talking about. But a MAC address, no relation to message authentication codes. This is an address that identifies a piece of equipment. It could be a computer, it could be a phone, it could be a router in your home. And each device gets a unique 6-byte address that's burned into that device forever. So exactly how the 6 bytes work doesn't really matter. But the important thing is everyone has a hard-coded burned address on their device. So this computer has a 6-byte MAC address burned into it. It can never change. Even if I move around, it has the same MAC address forever. And that's how I talk to different computers at layer 2. I use a MAC address to decide who I'm talking to. So that's it for layer 2. We now know that layer 2 helps us figure out how to transmit data between two hosts on a local network. And it specifies things like who's the source, who's the destination, how do you know if the packet is meant for you, how do you know if it's not meant for you, how do you define MAC addresses? Those are all questions that layer 2 is responsible for answering. And all of this relied on the services from layer 1. So now that we're done with layer 2, we can move up to the next layer and think about how to scale this up to the entire internet by connecting up each of these local networks together, similar to what we did with the post offices.